pretty complicated.
Well, give me the abridged version.
Well, the abridged version is this. I now know why Monty was so stressed.
Well, why was that?
The company has no money.
Why would it have no money?
MTEX is broken into various LLCs. MTEX Exploration, MTEX Oil Services, MTEX Land Trust, which holds all real estate, with Gracie and Daisy Miller as beneficiaries and Cammy now executor.
So the Landman Season 3 official trailer just dropped, and I genuinely did not expect it to hit this hard. Like, I knew Season 3 was going to be darker. I knew things were going to get messier. But nothing, and I mean nothing, could have prepared me for what they just showed us. Cammy has completely lost it. And I don't mean that in the way she was unraveling in Season 2. I mean she has fully crossed a line that there is no coming back from. Because in this trailer, we see her forcibly tie up Tommy, the one person who spent 2 entire seasons trying to save her from herself. The one person who warned her, protected her, and stayed loyal even when she made it impossible. And she tied him up. That image alone tells you everything you need to know about where Cammy's head is at going into Season 3. She is not grieving anymore. She is not unraveling anymore. She is transformed into something completely different, something dangerous, something that Monty would not even recognize. And the scariest part? She thinks she's doing the right thing. So buckle up, because this trailer just set the stage for the bloodiest, most twisted season of Landman yet. And we need to break down every single second of it. Let's start from the beginning, because the trailer opens in a way that immediately tells you the tone of this entire season. There is no slow build, there is no easing you in gently, it just throws you straight into the chaos. And the very first thing you notice is Cammy. But she doesn't look like the Cammy we left at the end of Season 2. That version of Cammy was broken, desperate, and alone. She had just fired Tommy, turned down Nate, and was standing in the middle of a collapsing empire with nothing but a stack of mysterious documents and 0 allies. She was a woman on the edge. But this version of Cammy that we're seeing in the Season 3 trailer, she has gone past the edge. She has fallen off it completely, hit the ground, and somehow gotten back up with a completely different energy. She looks focused. She looks cold. She looks like a woman who has decided that if the world is going to burn around her, she is going to be the one holding the match. And that shift in her character is what makes this trailer so unsettling to watch. Because throughout Season 2, no matter how frustrating she was, no matter how many bad decisions she made, you still felt something for her. You understood her pain. You understood why she couldn't let go of MTech, why she couldn't let go of Monty's legacy, even when it was destroying her. There was something deeply human about her stubbornness. It came from grief. It came from love. Even when she was making terrible choices, you could trace every single one of them back to the fact that she was a woman who had lost the person she built her entire life around, and she simply did not know how to exist without him. That's what made her tragic. That's what made her compelling. But Season 3 is showing us a Cammy who has moved beyond grief entirely, and what has replaced it is something far more frightening. What has replaced it is revenge. Pure, calculated, consuming revenge. And the trailer makes that crystal clear within the first few seconds. You can see it in the way she carries herself. You can see it in the way she speaks. There is no more desperation in her voice. There is no more pleading, no more trying to convince people to see things her way. She is not asking anyone for anything anymore. She has made up her mind about what she wants and what she is willing to do to get it. And that is terrifying, because Cammy with nothing to lose was already dangerous. But Cammy with a plan? Cammy who has read those documents with no electronic trail? Who now knows whatever dark secrets Monty was hiding? Who has spent however long between Season 2 and Season 3 sitting alone in that collapsing empire, piecing everything together? That Cammy is on a completely different level. And then the trailer gives us the moment that has everyone talking. The moment that genuinely made my jaw drop. Because we see Tommy, and he is tied up. Now let that sink in for a second, because this is not a small detail. This is not some quick blink and you miss it shot. This is a deliberate, front and center moment that the trailer wants you to sit with. Tommy, the man who built his entire identity around being unshakable, around being the guy who always finds a way out, around being the person that everyone else leans on when things fall apart, is sitting there, restrained. And Cammy is the one who put him there. The same woman he spent 2 seasons trying to help. The same woman he warned, protected, and ultimately lost his job over. She is the one who tied him up. And the look on her face while she does it is what really gets under your skin. Because she doesn't look angry. She doesn't look emotional. She looks completely calm. Like this was always the plan. Like this is just the next logical step in whatever she has been building towards since the moment Tommy walked out of MTech. And that calm is what makes it so deeply unsettling. Because anger you can reason with. Anger burns hot and then it fades. But this cold, calculated energy that Cammy is carrying in this trailer, that does not fade. That is the kind of energy that leads people to do things they can never take back. And based on everything this trailer is showing us, Cammy has already crossed several of those lines, and she is nowhere near done. Season 2 showed us a woman falling apart. Season 3 is showing us what she built from the pieces. And whatever she has built, it is darker, sharper, and far more dangerous than anything we have seen from her before. This is not Cammy the grieving widow anymore. This is Cammy the predator. And Tommy, whether he realizes it yet or not, is already in her crosshairs. The oil game has always been bloody in Landman, but this season, it looks like it is about to get personal in a way that changes everything. Now let's talk about Tommy's side of things, because the trailer doesn't just show us a man who got caught off guard by Cammy. It shows us a man who is already fighting on multiple fronts before she even enters the picture. And that is what makes his situation so desperate and so compelling to watch unfold. Because remember where Tommy ended Season 2. He didn't leave MTech with nothing. He left with a vision, a team, and millions of dollars from Galeno, backing his new company, CTT. On paper, that sounds like a win. That sounds like the kind of comeback story that you root for. The guy who got fired, dusted himself off, and built something better. And for a minute at the end of Season 2, it really felt like Tommy was finally getting what he deserved. A company of his own, a team he trusted, a future that wasn't built on someone else's foundation. But this is Landman. And in Landman, every single win comes with a price tag that you don't see until it's too late. And the trailer is making it very clear that the price tag on CTT is steep, because Galeno is back, and he is not showing up to congratulate Tommy on a job well done. The energy between them in this trailer is completely different from that iconic meeting at the end of Season 2. Gone is the mutual respect, the almost impressed look Galeno had when Tommy walked in and pitched his plan like a man who had nothing to lose and everything to prove. What we are seeing in the Season 3 trailer is a Galeno who is done being impressed. He has invested his money, he has made his bet, and now he wants his return. And the way he is moving in this trailer suggests that he is not the kind of man who waits patiently. That subtle, chilling threat he made in the Season 2 finale was not just a throwaway line, it was a promise. And Season 3 looks like it is the season where that promise gets collected on. And here is what makes Tommy's position so incredibly difficult. He cannot just walk away from Galeno the way he walked away from MTech. When you are fired, you leave. When you take a man's money to build your dream, you are locked in. And Galeno did not get to where he is by letting people walk away from their obligations. The trailer gives us glimpses of tension between them that feel like the early warning signs of something catastrophic. Little moments, a look here, a word there. The kind of quiet pressure that experienced viewers of this show know always builds into something explosive. Tommy is smart enough to read those signs. He has been in this industry long enough to know when the ground is shifting beneath him. But knowing something is coming and being able to stop it are two very different things. Especially when you are also trying to protect your family, keep your team together, and now apparently deal with Cammy tying you to a chair. Because here's the thing about Tommy that the trailer is really underlining in a way that the show has been building towards since Season 1. His greatest strength and his greatest weakness are exactly the same thing. It is the people he loves. His loyalty to the people in his circle is what makes him exceptional. It is what convinced Galeno to invest in him. It is what built the CTT Dream Team. It is what kept Nate by his side through everything. But that same loyalty is also what makes him vulnerable in ways that a man like Galeno can exploit without even trying. Because if you want to control Tommy, you do not threaten his business. You threaten his family. And the trailer is very deliberately hinting that multiple people in Season 3 have already figured that out. Cooper is still carrying the weight of what happened with that man he beat to death while protecting Ariana. And the trailer is making it look like that storyline is nowhere near finished. Those powerful connected people that we mentioned last time, the ones who do not forgive and do not forget, they are circling, and Tommy can feel it. You can see it in his face every time Cooper appears on screen in the trailer. That protective dad energy we talked about before is shifting from sweet to something much darker and much more desperate. Because Tommy knows what men like that are capable of. He has spent his entire career working around them, navigating their games, surviving their threats. But this time, it is not him they are coming for. It is his son. And that changes every calculation he has ever made. That is the version of Tommy that this trailer is promising us. Not the confident dealmaker, not the unshakable fixer, the cornered father who is out of good options and running out of time. And that, combined with everything Cammy is doing, makes Season 3 look like it is going to be absolutely relentless from start to finish. Let's dig into those documents, because if there is one thing this trailer keeps coming back to, it is Cammy and those papers. And I think that is intentional. I think the show is telling us that whatever Monty was hiding in those documents, with no electronic trail, is the engine that is driving everything in Season 3. It is the key to understanding why Cammy has transformed the way she has. It is the key to understanding why she feels justified in doing the things she is doing. And based on what the trailer is showing us, what she found in those papers is not just surprising, it is devastating. It is the kind of information that does not just change how you see a person. It changes how you see every single moment you ever shared with them. Every conversation, every decision, every sacrifice. All of it gets reframed through this new and ugly light. Think about what we already know about Monty and MTech. We know the company was dangerous. We know it cost Monty his life. We know that both Tommy and Nate separately told Cammy that this company killed Monty, and that if she did not stop, it would kill her too. That is not a small warning. That is two people who knew Monty well, who worked alongside him, who understood how this industry operates, both independently, arriving at the same conclusion. The company did not just lead to Monty's death, it caused it. And the question that has been hanging over this show since the very beginning is how? How exactly did MTech kill Monty? Was it the stress? Was it the enemies he made? Was it the deals he cut with people like Galeno? Or was it something darker, something more deliberate, something that someone made happen on purpose? Because here's what the trailer seems to be suggesting. Those documents that Cammy found, the ones with no electronic trail, the ones that Monty went out of his way to hide from any digital record, those papers are not just business records. They are not just financial documents or legal contracts. They are evidence of something. Something that Monty knew. Something that he was either investigating or hiding, or both. And whatever that something is, it has given Cammy not just a reason to be angry, but a target. A specific, identifiable target for all of that grief and rage and desperation that has been building inside her since the moment Monty died. And when a woman like Cammy finds a target, she does not let go. We saw that in Season 2 with the company itself, but the company was just a symbol, a stand-in for the real thing she could not face. Now she has the real thing. Now she knows who or what she is actually after. And the trailer is hinting very strongly that Tommy is connected to whatever she found in those documents. Not necessarily in a villainous way, not necessarily in a way that means he did something wrong, but connected. Because Tommy was close to Monty. Tommy knew things about MTech that Cammy did not know. Tommy warned her about the company in the same breath as Nate did. And Cammy, in her current state of mind, in this cold, calculating revenge mode that she has settled into, may have looked at those documents and seen Tommy's fingerprints somewhere in the story. Maybe she thinks he knew something and did not tell her. Maybe she thinks he was protecting Monty's secret instead of protecting her. Maybe she thinks that by firing him and cutting him out of her life, she actually got closer to the truth of what happened to her husband. And that interpretation, whether it is right or wrong, whether it is fair or completely off base, is what led to her tying him up. Because in Cammy's mind, Tommy is no longer the man who tried to help her. He is a piece of the puzzle she needs to solve, and she is done asking nicely. The trailer also gives us a glimpse of Nate in the middle of all of this, and his position looks incredibly uncomfortable. Because Nate has always been the man in the middle. He is loyal to Tommy, deeply and genuinely loyal in a way that Cammy tested and failed to break in Season 2. But he also had a relationship with Monty. He also knows things about MTech and its history that most people do not know. He runs the money at CTT now, which means he is embedded in Tommy's new world. But if those documents point somewhere that implicates anyone from Monty's inner circle, Nate cannot stay comfortable on the sidelines forever. And based on how the trailer is cutting between him and Cammy in certain moments, it looks like she has not forgotten about him either. She turned to him once before, after firing Tommy, trying to pull him away. He said no then, but Season 3 might put him in a position where saying no is not as simple as it used to be. Now we have to talk about the oil game itself, because Landman has never just been about the personal drama between these characters. The personal drama lives inside a much larger and much more dangerous world, the world of oil, money, and power. And Season 3 looks like it is pulling that world back into the center of the story in a way that Season 2 occasionally lets slip into the background. Because all of this, Cammy's revenge, Tommy's new company, Galino's pressure, Cooper's legal danger, all of it is happening inside an industry that runs on ruthlessness. An industry where the people at the top have gotten there by making sure everyone who stood in their way either moved or disappeared. And the trailer is reminding us of that very aggressively. There's a particular moment in the trailer where we see what looks like a confrontation that has nothing to do with CTT or MTech directly, but everything to do with the larger landscape of who controls what in this oil world. And it is a reminder that Tommy and Cammy are not the only players on the board. There are people in the background of this story who have been watching everything unfold, who have been waiting to see who comes out on top between MTech and CTT, who have been calculating exactly when and how to make their move. Season 2 gave us glimpses of that larger world. Season 3 looks like it is going to bring it fully into focus. And when it does, both Tommy and Cammy are going to realize very quickly that their personal war with each other is actually happening inside a much bigger war that neither of them fully controls. And this is where the show gets really interesting from a strategic standpoint. Because right now, both Tommy and Cammy are weakened. MTech is collapsing without real leadership. CTT is new and still finding its footing. Galino has money in both directions in a sense, because his investment in CTT does not erase his history with MTech and the people connected to it. And when two major players are distracted fighting each other, the people watching from the outside see opportunity. That is how this industry works. That is how it has always worked. You do not need to defeat your enemies directly. You just need to wait until they are busy defeating each other, and then walk through the door they left open. And the trailer is very deliberately setting up at least one or two characters who look like they have been doing exactly that kind of patient, strategic waiting. Dale is someone the trailer briefly highlights, and it is interesting because Dale is handling exploration for CTT, which means he is the one out in the field, in the dirt, making the calls about where the real value is. And in this industry, the person who controls exploration controls the future. If Dale finds something big, CTT becomes untouchable. If he does not, or if something goes wrong out there, the whole foundation of Tommy's new company starts to crack. The trailer shows Dale in a situation that looks like it has gone sideways in a serious way. And that could be everything from a physical danger in the field to a discovery that has political and criminal implications. Because that is how Landman rolls. Nothing is ever just a business problem. It is always a business problem wrapped inside a personal crisis, wrapped inside a criminal conspiracy. And then there is the question of Rebecca. As COO of CTT, she is the one keeping the operational side of this company alive, while Tommy deals with everything else pulling at him. And the trailer gives her a few moments that suggest she is carrying more than just the operational weight. There is something in her storyline this season that feels personal and complicated in ways the trailer is deliberately not explaining yet, which is smart, because Rebecca has always been a character with more going on beneath the surface than the show has fully explored. Season 3 looks like it might be the season where that changes, and whatever she is dealing with, it is not going to make Tommy's life any easier, because everyone in his circle being stable and solid is the one thing he needs right now. And the trailer is making it very clear that stability is the one thing nobody in this story is going to have.